So before I start, just a little bit about James Legal for those of you who are not familiar with us. Yes, we're lawyers. We do legal advice like most lawyers do. We're also human, but we're not just there to sell legal solutions, we're there to sell the right solution. The most satisfaction I get personally and that of my team is when we have a client who's done well, and that doesn't mean we've won the case or we've completed on a property purchase. It's about a long-standing relationship where you work with somebody and their business or their life moves from here to here in a positive way. That is the thing that floats my boat, and we've done that time and time again, and the amount of satisfaction you get from that is fantastic.
People talk about niches, and actually niches don't work anymore. You've got to use overlaps. The overlap between creative and digital, you can do some really interesting innovation. We have to wear clothes, but we don't have to wear high fashion. And we have to communicate, but we don't have to create poetry. When you start to look at it from that point of view, you start to realise that there's some really interesting opportunities when you start to innovate. So I recognised that branding was something quite interesting. So a few of us sat in an office. I dreamt up this business, and it was called Trident. Never ever stopped growing, 30% year-on-year growth. If your business isn't growing, it's dying. We stopped looking at putting ink on paper and started looking at putting pixels on a screen. When you look at it that simply, that's what I talk about innovation, just looking at what you do and doing it different, then you start to see some success. Quite simply, we set out to become the best company in the world for making CGI images. What we were able to do was create a new graphics format that tried to create that first moment of truth online. You don't have to do much to a product to bring it to life. What I want to do now is talk about Hull. We set up the C4DI, which you may have seen in the fruit market area. We do two things. We help startups grow and we help traditional businesses innovate. But the one thing we didn't expect it to do was to bring all of these successful digital businesses in Hull out into the open. People were coming out as a digital business. People globally, nationally and locally, their lives are touched by Hull digital businesses every single day of the year.
Surround yourself with winners. Get in a room, either don't be the smartest, don't be the toughest, don't be the fittest, get in a tough environment. These guys are accessible. Go to City, you're going to bump into Dean Windus. Or Luke Campbell possibly. Go to OFC, you're going to bump into these people. It goes back to get around the winners and talk about the goals and get inspired and get aspirations and always have a goal. Once you've surrounded yourself with winners, what are you going to become? You're going to become a winner. And then what you should have is a winning mentality. Bring it into your business, develop and inspire your team. All I'd say to you guys is, and this is what Mike Bromby said to me, and he's produced Olympic champions, he's produced Commonwealth champions, featherweight champions, his dream.
Do what you love, and if I have to be honest, I do love accountancy, so I'm trying to change my mindset and my client base is that I'd like to think I'm a bit more approachable than the stereotypical room that I walked into 19 years ago. Accountancy to some people is boring, but I think as a business, if you want to grow along with what David mentioned earlier on and what Alex mentioned, I think we're quite a pivotal service provider in order to grow businesses. And I enjoy being quite nosy and asking a lot of questions, but I guess if you don't ask those questions, you can't help people.